Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. I'm the Grace Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Friday, September 20th, 2024. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? May I please have the first 5 cards in our 5-card spread? First card we are starting our day off with today. Lovers in its reversal. All right, let's talk about it, my friends. Guys, it's the eclipse season. It's the eclipse season. Welcome to the eclipse season. Things start feeling a little bit wonky whenever we navigate throughout these eclipse cycles, okay? I'm going to say it right now. Now is not the time to be picking any fights with anybody, all right? I've been saying this for days. Everybody's got hypersensitivity right now. Everyone's deep in their feelings, okay? Everybody's deep in their feelings right now, and now is not the time to match energy. Okay, listen to me. Now is not the time to match energy. And that's going to feel very difficult. That's going to feel very problematic because everybody is, I feel like everybody's walking around going, what's gotten into everybody? I'll tell you what's gotten into everybody. The eclipse has gotten into everybody. Everybody feels like they've got a little like bug picking at them. It's like that Princess and the Pea effect, okay? All those things that felt like they were manageable feel like they amplify whenever we experience these eclipse cycles. So that also talks about something that may have been a little tiny problem that now feels like it's a big flippin' deal. But that's the thing that we have to recognize, because how do we navigate that in a way that feels like it's productive? And I'm going to tell you right now, that's actually can be a bit of an energetic gift, because when you're utilizing that type of energy in a positive way, it allows for a lot of deep diving. You have to look at a lot of that to a certain extent, almost like a microscope. The advantage of these eclipse cycles to a certain extent is that fact that as long as you're approaching a problem from a sense of trying to identify a solution, then that amplification, if you will, it may be feeling like a zoom in. It may be feeling like that ability to delve into something, it feels a lot easier, right? So as long as you're navigating that with a sense of like being like a good scientist, like having that desire to explore, having that desire to understand, this can be a beautiful time in getting to the heart of a specific problem. Really kind of being able to cut through the dross, cut through the things that feel like they cloud that, because that ability of seeing the expansion point, that is the beauty of energy like this. But it can also, if you're not as focused on doing that work, it can just feel like someone's taking the volume on the things that stink and just raising them to 11. Okay? So remember that. The eclipse does not create problems where problems don't exist. The eclipse amplifies something that was already there. Now, for masculine and feminine energy, one of the things we've been talking about right now, and this is a little bit of the problem that we experience often with the Piscean energy. A lot of the pathwork of Piscean energy is going against the current. A lot of the work of the Pisces journey is that feeling of learning how it's not just about swimming, it's about learning how to swim upstream. Like that is the challenging aspect of the Piscean journey. It's about going against the tide. It's about going against the grain. And that can feel exhaustive as you're doing it. It can feel frustrating. It can feel energetically thankless, because when you're doing that type of work, you're moving against the energetic tide. It's that moment. You ever been in the best way I can describe it is have you ever been in like a whirlpool, like, when you're a child? When you're a child and all the kids are doing the whirlpool and then you have that moment, you go like, wee, because you feel it. And then one person decides to be that guy. One person decides to be that guy and goes, what if? And they start going the other way. And for the first few seconds, it feels like it's impossible. For the first few seconds, it feels like everything is against it. But as long as everyone starts moving in that way, then it becomes even more fun, because that's that moment that feels like the tide is energetically changing. So we see even now that some of that energy that we're feeling right now is like caught in that like vortex of the Piscean like turning of the tide, if you will. And for a lot of the masculine and feminine energy, it may be feeling And again, we see this during eclipse cycles, something that changes very fast, something that's like, it's almost requiring a little bit of that, like, don't get too comfortable type of energy, right? So and here's the important thing when you're navigating something like that. The important thing is not allowing oneself to get disoriented, because as long as you have and how do you avoid being disoriented? You keep your purpose fixed on the horizon. That's why we keep saying that the important thing right now is really making sure that you're not moving spontaneously. I mean, you can move spontaneously so long as there's intentionality behind it. This type of energy is beautiful when there's a culmination. If you're waiting, if you've been culminating to do something, this might be the time that suddenly you have to do it very quickly. It's like that spark that emerges. What you want to avoid, and I'm going to say this over and over and over again over the next few weeks. I'm going to be the broken record that keeps on telling you this. Don't do anything hasty that just pops into your head like a last minute decision, something that feels like, like that modality, because that's that moment that is the difference between like feeling that spontaneity of being able to act quickly and with intention versus having that moment like energetic distraction. So even now, that could be resulting, and we saw this, a lot of the situations and circumstances are potentially happening right now for dealing with the energy deep within divine union, is navigating the disorientation of others outside of the energetic union itself. And so we see even now, because a lot of that energy being in alignment, this is the energy that feels like they may be going against the current right now. And that modality, both for feminine and masculine, is being navigated in different ways. But both are energetically feeling it. But it's not that modality of like changing one's own intention. It's trying to stay intentional in the midst of energy around you that feels like they're not sharing that same sense of purpose or commitment. While for masculine, it's like getting on board. It's like literally the type of energy being like, get on board, Now, masculine and feminine coming into divine union right now, this is why I was saying that for the energy coming into divine union right now, this could be feeling, and it's hard. This type of energetic turbulence to a certain extent, this is a little bit of that sink or swim energy that we often see for energy coming into divine union. Because a lot of this energy has been building into the pathwork of trust. A lot of these energies have been building into deep connections, potentially deeper and more vulnerable. I see a lot of energy being right now saying to one another, I've never felt this way before. But they're not saying that from a place of passion. They're saying it from a place of intimacy. They're saying it from a place of trust. And for a lot of this energy, that ability of suddenly discovering parts of the self, new sensitivities, things that you weren't sensitive about before that suddenly are very sensitive about, the ability to articulate through that instead of subjecting another to it is basically identifying the energy that is continuing forward into divine union versus the energy that may be slipping back into separation. Because that's the difference between the energy experiencing that and saying to one another and holding each other's hand through it and saying, you make me feel like a child again, versus seeing someone act erratically and say, why are you acting like a child, right? Because the energetic child that feels the wonder and the joy of having that expansion point, of having that moment of discovery, having that beautiful unfolding, like that's the energy that moves and welcomes the wonder of discovering the self that happens in the connection of moving deeper into intimacy with another energetic connection. If you're not ready for that level and degree of vulnerability, if you're not ready for that level or degree of sensitivity, of that awakening process that comes through in the expansion of understanding another, that can create fear, that can create anxiety, that can create discomfort. And so we see even now, like that is either the moment that there's energy right now, and that's why it's so polarizing. I see some of that energy is having these incredible moments of saying, I'm discovering parts of myself that I wasn't even sensitive about. I can see and feel myself changing as a relation of building into a connection with you. I'm understanding myself more. But if there's energy here that is feeling that and it's like terrifying, if this is the energy that's going, I can't, I feel too much. I care too much about this person. Like there's energy here that could be pushing away because that's the energy that's not prepared for the level or degree of energetic trust that is necessary in terms of building that type of energetic bridge with a counterpart energy. So we see even now that this is either like moving into bliss or it's moving into what may feel like conflict or disturbance. While for masculine and feminine energy that is in separation right now, a lot of this energy in separation, this is the energy that has moved so much into their own manifestation goals that they don't have, they've lost the taste for anything that isn't that. Like, this is the energy again. This is a lot of energy right now. And this is why we see so much energy right now being like, you know what? I don't really think I want to be in partnership right now. There's a lot of energy right now that's about to move into their manifestation goals in relationality to partnership. But the thing I'm seeing here is a lot of the energy is going, no, you're wrong. I don't want a partner right now. I'm grossed out. Like, I see the energy going, I am grossed out with people right now, because we see that so much of this energy has refined a taste for what it is that they want in their manifestation goal. That what happens when you have a refined taste, you feel grossed out by anything that isn't in that taste. So there's a lot of energy right now. It's like, no, I've let go of that manifestation goal. In fact, and I'm kind of grossed out in general, not realizing that that's the manifestation goal. Like, the manifestation goal is going, dude, like, what? Continuing to get clarification on this cards right now. Second card in our 5-card spread for today. High Priestess, and it's upright. This is having a different impact on masculine and feminine energy. Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. For a lot of feminine energy right now, I keep seeing a lot, like across all of the frequencies, a lot of energetic recall right now. A lot of energy going, like, I see feminine energy just running around going, sorry, I need that back right now. Sorry, I know I let you borrow that. I need to get it back. I'm sorry. No, I need that. Sorry, I need to grab this. Because there's a lot of this feminine energy right now that is working through, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. A lot of this feminine energy right now, even across all of the frequencies, but specifically, and this is where it's so valuable, for a lot of the energy of feminine and separation right now, I see a lot of the feminine energy right now that's moving through that modality of saying, and I even see it, like the level of energetic peace that they've reached to a certain extent is moving out of that sense. And this is why this is what articulates a beautiful manifestation goal. Is often when we move towards manifestation goals, we say I need, but now there's energy that says I don't need. This is a lot of the energy that's moved into that space of manifestation where feminine's like, I don't need a partnership. I would like a partnership. A partnership would be nice. But if these are energies that like first moved in it and said like to the universe, like, I need a good relationship. But there's a lot of this energy that's going, you know what? I actually don't need it. Like, there's energy here that I can see a lot of this feminine energy being like, I'm feeling very energetically good here. I'm feeling like I found myself, because that's the beauty of a healthy manifestation. A healthy manifestation isn't about reaching an aligned goal. It's about finding yourself in the process. So we see even now that there's a lot of that energy of the feminine that's feeling a little bit of that energetic peace right now. And the important thing about that is for a lot of the feminine energy, that's peace with the decisions that you may have made recently too. Because this is a lot of the feminine energy. I see even now walking away from things that don't feel like they're aligned for them, but recognizing and feeling that sense of peace, doing so, that's making them say like, oh, I've kind of inhabited the space of like this is the energy going, I've changed in the process of trying to find an energetic counterpart, right? Masculine, kind of doing the same right now. This is a little bit more fraught. I need to say this right now. It's a little bit more fraught for masculine energy right now. Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. Because for masculine energy right now, one of the major manifestation mantras I keep hearing is a lot of this masculine energy is utilizing the mantra of saying, I prioritize energy that prioritizes me. I choose feminine energy that chooses me. Because if this is a lot of the masculine energy that's gone on that journey and being able to open up to the self, being able to articulate to feminine both how you feel and what you want. If this is masculine that is healing from any energetic counterpart of feminine that they provided those things to them, but the feminine was not able to match them in kind. This is a lot of the masculine energy saying, like again, both of these energies are saying with conviction. Like that's a masculine saying, I don't want the feminine just to be following along. I want a feminine energy that moves towards I want a feminine energy that matches my own energetic desires with conviction. Because that's the difference in terms of feeling like you're building with someone as opposed to that feeling that you're building around someone. Now, for both of these energies right now coming into divine union, this is why I see that this type of energetic turbulence, I got to say it, this is a type of energy right now that we're seeing coming into the divine union that often makes or breaks an energetic connection. Why are we seeing that this type of energy makes or breaks an energetic connection? This is why even now, if this is a feminine experiencing this is a feminine that may be holding their energetic breath, because this could even be modalities where feminine has experienced this before from masculine energy that isn't able to navigate the vulnerability required in order to build into an intimate energetic connection. Because if this is masculine and feminine, that again, feeling that sense of becoming one's higher version of self, feeling that activation point, feeling that heightened sensitivity about things, this is a lot of the feminine's a little bit better at this and identifying that is that sense that when we care, when we love, we worry. Like love creates anxiety at times. Love creates fear. So we see even now that for some of the feminine energy, this is a little bit easier to navigate because feminine energy is just more acclimated with recognizing that the vibration of love often carries with it the vibration of energetic fear, but it's not the kind of energetic fear that you're like chasing after something. It's that fear of like remembering that when we prioritize something, we make something precious. And when something is precious, we identify preciousness by the fear that something will happen to it. So we see even now that a lot of the feminine energy being able to navigate that's the feminine feeling more grounded in that energetic frequency. That's the anxiety. If this is feminine, like this is masculine and feminine both working through this. And if this is feminine that's experiencing masculine, this feeling energetic turbulence around that, this is the feminine that's again identifying the masculine that's open and vulnerable enough about the self that's able to say to feminine, you make me feel like a child again. You make me like you're making me feel this sense of like feeling that sensitivity about things that I haven't before. And if that's a masculine going, I love this feeling. Like this feeling is like wonderful and terrifying at the same time. Like that's the feminine energy that's looking towards masculine and saying this is a masculine energy that's ready for an energetic connection, because this is a masculine energy that's ready to feel, that has the strength within them to navigate the emotionality without projecting that feeling on those around them. But here we see even now that there may be some feminine, this is what I'm seeing even now, if these are modalities where masculine is feeling that sensitivity of care, but instead it's just creating that anxiety in them to the point that they become like unstable, right? We see even now that these are the energies that are kind of working through that. And again, that's a difference between someone saying that childlike wonder that is required for entering a divine union connection that says, I love this feeling, I'm embracing it, you're making me feel like a child again, versus the energy that works through that and sees someone whose starts acting like a child, like pushing something away, being like, this feels funny, I don't like it, right? And that's that modality that we see here that is like a little bit of that differentiation that may be occurring right now for some of the energy coming into within the divine union frequency. That's the energetic turbulence, because this is the energy that's feeling the reality setting in terms of how much they energetically care about one another. Now for masculine and feminine energy deep within divine union, a lot of this energy right now is just dealing with it outside of the partnership. This is a lot to do with the energy outside of the partnership, because this is the energy that like even here they're navigating some of those sensitivity points and they're articulating them. But this has more about the fact about the energy right now navigating in such a way. For feminine, it's a little bit of butting heads. I got to say it. You know, it's either navigating someone who is navigating energy that is like a lot of energy acting like a child. And that could be someone with either thin skin or someone who's being like very like energetically stubborn, right? So we see even now like a lot of that energy is just navigating it deep within divine union. Third card in our 5-card spread for today is center card, the world. So this is a perfect articulation as our center card of what we're talking about with a lot of this Piscean journey that we're seeing as a result of some of this energy. So as we mentioned, a lot of that work that we see that occurs during the Piscean journey is the sense that the recognition of a lot of the lessons that Pisces energy has to learn. It's not just about swimming, because Pisces know how to swim just fine. It's about learning how to swim against the tide. It's learning about how to push against the current. So we see even now that for a lot of the energy deep within divine union, it could be feeling like a frustration point because you feel like that tide is turning, but it feels like you're like at the front of turning some of that energetic, like moving some of that energy, and it's requiring a lot of tenacity. Right? It's requiring a lot of energetic effort. And this is the energy that recognizes that when you first start doing something in a different way, it always feels impossible, because that's the movement of changing energy in such a way that you're like, you feel a lot of that drag. And this is the energy that's both recognizing and feeling their own vitality and conviction that's bringing forth in terms of what their directionality is, while at the same time feeling some of that oppositional force and what needs to change around them in the process. So this is a lot of that eclipse energy. But again, as long as you're moving through it with a tenacity, it's going to be kind of empowering, even though it's exhaustive, right? Because you're going to see progress, but it's going to feel like it's much harder every step of the way. Masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union right now. This is the energetic turbulence that we're talking about. There's a lot of energy right now. I feel like a lot of energy coming into divine union is feeling like that sense of being like really ground tested to a certain extent. Because this is a lot of that energy feeling the reality of what they're changing around them, or feeling that change within. And this is the energy that's either experiencing, I want to say, that beautiful moment of identifying that everything around them is changing via the energetic connection that they're building with a counterpart, and experiencing that with a sense of joy, even as it may be feeling very vulnerable and confusing. Or that's and again, I'm going to tell you right now, the only difference, you know what I'm going to say, you're going to hear me say this a lot during the eclipse season, the only difference between a breakthrough and a breakdown is how much you welcome it. And they change. It's not just how you experience, it's whether you welcome it or not. So we see even now, like, this is the energy feeling that, and whether that's the energy that's going, oh my goodness, I'm feeling this breakthrough, everything's changing around me and I welcome it. And if that's the energy going, oh my God, everything's changing around me, you know what I mean? Like those words, like depending on how you carry those words right now, this could be feeling expansive, or this could be feeling terrifying. For the energy right now in separation, I just see a lot of the energy in separation being like, no. I just keep hearing, no, I'm done. No, I don't even mean it. I don't even mean this like the superficial, like saying I'm done, but I don't mean I'm done. This is the energy being like, I am done. Like, this doesn't even apply to me. I know you're saying I'm done, but how dare you say I'm done? Because like, I'm done. Like, there's a lot of this energy right now that is just like, I want to say, walking away from their manifestation goal, saying, I'm not even going to think about it. I don't care about it. A watch pot never boils, my friends. A watch pot never boils. And so a lot of the energy in the universe just sitting there going, they're done. Yeah, I think they're actually done now. Yep. I think they've refined the manifestation goal. I think they're done. I think they've refined the manifestation goal. So we see even now, like, a lot of that energy is like, again, there's a lot of this distaste, but this is a lot of the energy that's setting their own course to a certain extent. And it's in that modality that when you stop caring about something, you allow yourself to be in the space of being your most authentic version of self, right? This is a lot of the energy right now in separation that says, I don't care. Like, there's a lot of that feeling, and I have to stress here, there's a lot of this energy I'm seeing right now in separations going, I don't care. But what you're really saying is, I'm not putting my energetic value outside of the self. You care a lot. It's just about what you care about. And your valuation point, when you say, I don't care, what you're really saying is, I place that intrinsic value in here, not out there. Fourth card in our 5-card spread for today is 2 of Pentacles. And this is the energy right now. I see a lot of new energetic connections that are meeting under these circumstances, being like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, yeah, it's nice to meet you. I'm not available. I'm not available to anyone. Like, there's a lot of energy right now. There's a lot of energy right now that's like skirting around each other, is the best way I can describe this. A lot of energy right now. I'm getting easy breezy, being like, hey, how you doing? Just walking around each other. These energies right now that are about to come into union are like literally like walking around each other right now. They're like almost bumping into each other, because again, they're both like, no, I'm not paying attention. I don't care. Like, this is the energy that's like, even like the gravitational pull and moving in that way. I see that these are the energies that are like driving towards one another, even in their uncaring. Like, this is what I told you, a little bit of this like surprise energy that I see is occurring here right now. And this is like giving me like, oh, it's funny meeting you here. What a coincidence. Oh, I bumped into this person. Like, I just see a lot of this, I keep getting everything about this eclipse they're saying to me is like delightful surprise kind of energy. Like, oh, what a nice surprise. So I see even now, like, there's some of this energy that even in the midst of it, like, I keep getting a lot of energy, a lot of stuff going weird, but then suddenly having this like lovely little surprise there, because a lot of this energy is feeling that breakthrough in things that are changing around them in the process of something new coming into fruition. So again, many things can be happening at once here. And a lot of this energy right now is like, again, walking away from something, not recognizing that they're about to walk into something completely new. Now for something completely different. While for masculine and feminine energy right now coming into divine union, and I think that this is a little rough right now because these are rough waters, because again, I'm going to say it again, what's happening for the energy coming into divine union is this is a lot of that heightened sensitivity that's occurring that often happens as we enter into divine union with energetic counterpart. And that's that moment that either feels like a breakthrough or a breakdown. And depending on how you welcome it or depending on how you navigate it within, depends on whether this feels like a moment of expansion or someone saying this feels like a little too much for me. I don't know if I can handle this, right? And it all and the ability to kind of hold each other's hands through that process is what is effectively necessary to a certain extent. Because again, the ability to articulate through something instead of react to it is what effectively allows for that building of trust that is required in building a healthy energetic relationship. Masculine and feminine deep within divine union right now, this is a lot of energy that's just navigating some of that those changes. But I see that a lot of the energy right now, navigating changes, but keeping one's own focus, setting those intentions. A lot of the energy deep within divine union, I keep hearing this isn't their first rodeo. Like, this isn't their first rodeo. This isn't the first time that this energy has experienced those modalities. Wherein, again, I got to say, sometimes just, again, the beauty and valuation of building with counterpart is recommending and understanding and recognizing the fact that you can go through difficulties together. So I see even now, like, there's a lot of that energy navigating some of that flux, but almost looking towards one another and saying, here we go again, we can do this, we know what we're doing, like building into that sense of intentionality. The big difference here is doing something in a different way. These energies are doing things in a different way, but even here, that ability to trust one another as they do so, like that is the energy that feels fortified as they navigate those hurdles together. Fifth card in our 5-card spread for today is Six of Cups in its reversal. So the biggest difficulty that we're seeing right now for a lot of the energy that is deep within divine union has to do with unhealed karmic connections. So what are we talking about with the unhealed karmic connections? This is going to be anything about, like, again, energy that doesn't feel like it's moving with a sense of trying to build or heal, right? Energy that feels like those connections feel like they're disrupted. This is like trying to navigate through them. So I see a lot of the energy deep within divine union having to put a lot of time, effort, and energy in the energy outside of the union specifically, because I told you, it's almost like the tide pool. The energy is moving in a way that's different, and they're trying to bring the energy on board in the process, right? So a lot of this work here, like it does feel like a bit of that. It feels like explanations. It feels like clarifications. It feels like a lot of that fundamental work in trying to heal something, almost looking potentially at connections right now, seeing if something can heal that might not have had the opportunity to heal it before, because a lot of this energy is taking new approaches to things. Masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union. I'm going to say it right now. This is either the energy that is feeling, and I just going to see it here. This is either energy that is having a breakthrough in recognizing the changes of the self and feeling vulnerable through them, not subjecting another to them, having a breakthrough in relationality to the level they're building in an energetic connection. If someone's not ready for that level and degree of intimacy, this could be the repetition of a cycle that's occurring. If this is someone that starts to pull away at a time that intimacy is growing, then there could be some energy here that feels like they're falling back into the repetition of a process, of a cycle. because that's that modality of experiencing something. And if that fear is too great, I gotta say, you gotta be brave to be in a divine union partnership. It requires bravery because it requires vulnerability, and it takes a lot of bravery to be vulnerable to counterpart. So we see even now, like if there's energy here that does not have that level or degree of bravery to build into counterpart connection here, there could be some energy that's falling back into separation right now. But I see that a lot of energy here is having a tremendous breakthrough, because this is the energy potentially feeling the anxiety that they may have felt in a previous connection and saying, I'm going to proceed for this. I'm not going to repeat that past mistake. I'm not going to let myself fall into those same thought patterns. I'm not going to let those anxieties and fears override my own intentionality. So we see even now, like this is the energy that's learning how, like, a good partnership isn't requiring you to fall. It is a trust fall. It is a continual trust fall. It is like juggling. It is like throwing your ball constantly in the air and always feeling that moment of saying, I know that energy will be there to catch me. And that's not a neediness, right? That is a flow that we build in an energetic connection, because that's that moment that we're never leaning on someone energetically. We are also simultaneously catching them in the process, right? So we see even now that there's a lot of this energy that is learning the process of vulnerability and trust that is required in building an energetic connection with counterpart. And that's the energy that when they say, like when they're scared, they don't react like someone who's scared. They say, this scares me. And the other person goes, I know, it scares me too. Someone saying, I never felt this way before. And they go, I never felt this way too. Instead of someone being like, I'm scared, runs away, and then the ball lands on the floor, and then all of their fears come to fruition. So we see even now, like a lot of this energy is learning. They're saying like learning how to juggle, learning how to go through that juggling act of what it feels like when you're building into a healthy connection. And that is that sense of, again, throwing something up and catching it, having that sense of always being there to catch the other person in the process. Well, for a lot of energy right now in separation, I just keep seeing this is energy saying, I'm done. No, it's not worth the risk. I see a lot of energy right now going, it's not worth the risk. Every time I throw my ball up, someone's not there to catch it. Forget this. Nobody knows how to juggle. I'm done. I'm not throwing anything to anyone. But I also see energy meeting someone being like, I'm not juggling either. I'm so tired of this. I see new energetic connections coming together that are literally saying, no, I'm not available. Like continuing to get clarification between the Lover's card and the High Priestess. I see so many energetic connections with someone being like, yeah, I don't really know. Like, this is the energy being like, I don't know. I'm really like, I'm not here for it. Look, but even here, this is the energy right now, feminine particularly. I just see a lot of this energy right now, masculine and feminine, moving into something because, again, they're not interested in pleasing those around them. This isn't energy right now that's trying to put on like a song and dance to try to bring some kind of energy towards them. This is the energy that's proceeding forward and just being like, I'm just going to be me. Particularly feminine right now. Feminine's almost saying to themselves, I see a lot of feminine energy in separation saying, I'm just going to be my most authentic version of self. And if that sends someone packing, thank you, higher self, for sending that energy away. Thank you for thank you for protecting me by letting that authentic version of self send someone moving. And I can see even a lot of energy right now, like being like, watch this. I'm gonna send this person running for the hills. And I see a lot of energy being like, why aren't you going anywhere? And someone being like, you are great. Like, you are great. And I see masculine now coming towards some feminine energy. And like, again, I want to say like a lot of this energetic moment here of like potentially unpacking the feminine and being like, you seem like really cool. You seem like someone I can talk to. Because I see masculine energy right now potentially connecting with feminine, not trying to impress feminine, but just looking for someone, like I can almost see like an ear to listen to, someone to sympathize with. I just see a lot of energy coming towards one another in profoundly authentic ways right now. And I can see a lot of the energy in separation going, you know what? I'm just looking for a friend right now. I can see a lot of this energy going, I'm just looking for a friend right now. And someone being like, me too. I'm feeling a little like banged up. Yep. Yep. We'll see how long those friendships last. We'll see how long those friendships last. Continuing to get clarification for masculine and feminine coming into divine union right now, this is either fortifying. This is either a massively groundbreaking moment for a lot of energy coming into divine union, because there's a lot of sensitive conversations about someone talking about how much they feel. And almost like, again, a lot of fear being expressed. But even here, for masculine, the ability to articulate to feminine the fear, like looking towards feminine, saying, the reason I'm acting weird is because I fear losing you. For the feminine energy receiving masculine, that's able to articulate that instead of reacting like a loon, or doing something that like self-sabotages, that's a feminine going, like that's a feminine feeling a wave of energetic relief, because this is a feminine that feels that certainty and saying this is a masculine that is able to feel the things they're feeling and not just react to them unconsciously. This is a masculine that's really able to unpack and understand the nature of love is one that resides in the space of fear. And for masculine energy, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to, that ability to be emotionally vulnerable to a feminine that doesn't shy away from a conversation of that nature, that isn't overwhelmed, but almost creates that supportive structure and responds in that time and says, I feel that too. Like this is, I told you, this is the blossoming process. This is a beautiful moment that we see that there's some partnerships right now that are blossoming in incredible ways. I do see right now, I'm sorry to say it, I do see the possibility here of some energetic connections that are potentially falling apart at this moment, because if this is a modality where masculine is feeling that expansion, and instead of embracing it, instead of talking through it, is becoming reactive, is pulling away, is drawing back, is running in fear from that feeling of the heightening of the sensitivity that brings forth into building a connection with feminine and a point of deep intimacy. Like this is going to feel like, again, this is going to feel like a breakdown, because there's going to be masculine pulling away and feminine going, I know what's happening. And the worst part for feminine experiencing this is the feminine going, I don't think that this is coming from a lack of love. I think this is coming from someone that isn't ready, doesn't know how to navigate the feeling of love. So we see even now, like that's a lot of that, again, breakthroughs and breakdowns that may be occurring right now in energetic connections. And for some it's beautiful, and for some it may be feeling a bit energetically devastating. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, deep within divine, because again, you have to be strong to love. You have to be emotionally strong to be able to love. You know, that's a difference between love that feels good versus love that is real. While for masculine and feminine energy, and I feel like that, a lot of feminine energy going, I know, like this is feminine going, I've had relationships where that person was not strong enough to be my masculine. They could not bear that weight of the feeling of love. While for masculine and feminine, deep within divine union, this is the energy just, this is the energy just navigating other people around the energetic connection. But again, a little bit of this is the fact that like the energy is recognizing or feeling the validation point in identifying that, like, you know, when you're going, like, again, and this is a little bit of the energy within divine union, embracing that Piscean journey, because like when you're in the front of the line, you know, you always got to do things first. You always got to make the energetic changes. So a lot of this energy is used to kind of being in that modality of doing something where everyone around them is looking and going, what the heck are you doing? And someone being like, just give me a minute. Watch, you know, like just give me some room is what we're seeing, that a lot of the energy within divine union saying, you know. And it is different for masculine and feminine. Masculine's taking on more. Masculine's like, throw another ball in right now. I need more to do here. Feminine, it's all about focus. Feminine's dropping stuff. Feminine's letting stuff go right now. Masculine's picking more stuff up. And in the modality of doing that, this is energy that's doing things in a different way. And even here, I feel like it's creating some energetic confusion around them in the process. While continuing to get clarification between our High Priestess in combination with our World card in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with 7 of Cups. The interesting thing about the energy deep within divine union right now is they're doing things in different ways. They're taking different approaches to things. And it's taking that a different approach that is making some fundamental differences right now. Feminine is getting much more focused. Masculine is getting much more, what's the word? It's not focus. Getting much more, what's the word I'm looking for? Getting like they're getting much more. The prolific is the best way I can describe it right now. Another word will come to me, but it's more of the masculine, being willing to try different things. Feminine is focusing on singular things right now. Both of these approaches are creating like positivity, but it's hard because this is a lot of the energy right now that even in the modality of taking that approach, they're like reconsidering a lot of things that are on their plate to see how they're going to navigate them. Masculine and feminine energy right now coming into divine union. Again, this energy and this the thing that's frustrating about some of this energy that I'm seeing is these are a lot of connections that started during the retrograde cycle. And these are either energies that are going into massive expansion points very quickly. Like really that incredible blossoming process so quickly, versus I see some energy right now that's feeling the anxiety and saying this is happening too fast. I'm feeling, I can't believe how quickly this is happening. This just feels like too much too soon. So I see even now, like for some of that energy, this is like that sense of celebration. This is that sense of being like, I can tell that this is energetically real because not only is it happening so quickly, but it's happening in such a massive way. I've never felt this way before. I told you, it's like fireworks right now. It's like a garden opening. But for some of the energy right now, if you're not energetically prepared for that, I can see a lot of this energy that's pulling back and going, this is too much, too soon. Like, I'm feeling too much. Like, this is like, you know what I mean? Like, it's literally about whether you can energetically navigate that expansion point. Masculine and feminine in separation right now. I know a lot of you are saying that you're done. You're not done. You're just beginning. Like the thing about this, and I'm seeing that you're done, is when you're saying that you're done, what you're saying is you're done doing something in a way that you feel like it wasn't serving you. So even here, there's a lot of energy that's going, no. I can see you saying like, no. You don't know what you're talking. I really mean I'm done. I don't mean that in like, but this is the energy that even here, it's the fact that you're willing to walk away from things that don't feel like they're serving you anymore. Like you're learning taking new approaches. And even in taking that approach, this is the energy that is recognizing that you're walking away from something and suddenly walking into a whole new energetic perspective. Because I see even now, this is energy that's about to come into like a whole new like realm of possibilities. While continuing to get clarification between our World card and our Two of Pentacles in its upright. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with the Wheel of Fortune, right? Because you can't walk you can't walk away from something. This is the energy that's like recognizing that like, what are you walking away from? You can't walk away from your own path work. So even when you're on path work and you're like, I'm done, I'm walking away. You're walking away. You're walking into what are you walking away from? You're on your own path. You're walking on your own path. You're just saying to yourself, I'm tired of doing something in a way that exhausts me. So here's the energy that's going, I'm done. I'm done. And now the energy's just beginning because it's in the moment that you say I'm done, that you say I'm complete, which you allow a cycle to complete. So you begin a new energetic cycle, right? And a lot of the energy is going, okay, they said they're done now. Okay, that was the full order. Yep. They just, they just said they're done. They said they're done. Yeah, I literally heard them say they were done. Okay, cool. Yeah, bring in the new. Yeah, because they're done with, they just said they're done with the old. I'm tired, Grandpa. Keep digging. Masculine and feminine energy right now coming into divine union. I got to say right now, this is the energy that's either having a breakthrough. They're about to proceed forward. There's some energy here that's about to repeat a cycle. I hate to be the person to articulate this here. I hate. I am mad about having to articulate what I'm seeing here because it bothers me too. Because there, but I say here, it's not all of the energy. It's like saying to me, there's like a 50-50 split here. 50-50 split between the energy right now that is feeling that expansion point and going, I'm ready for this. I'm not going to run for this. I'm not going to do what I always do. I'm going to take that trust fall. I'm going to take that leap of faith. I'm going to take that step into the abyss. I'm going to put it all on the line, right? That's the energy that steps forward, that then moves into that energy of divine union versus the energy going, this is too much too soon. I can't, this is changing too many things. I've never felt like this before. I'm starting to feel claustrophobic. Like I got to go and like pulling away, right? So we see even now they're saying like, this is either that moment of the breakthrough, the new energetic cycle versus the energy that's repeating the cycle. That's saying, this is too much, I can't. So even now, like, and a lot of this that's happening here, like this is how it goes, you know, like this is why that energetic turbulence is there. Because again, holding a space for love, it requires a lot of spiritual and emotional strength. Now, masculine and feminine energy right now that is deep within divine union, a lot of this energy deep within divine union right now. This is the energy that I see even now, a lot of that path work of progress. And this is a lot of that energy that's doing that hard work and doing something in a different way. But this is also the energy that's already recognizing that it's paying off, right? I told you there's a lot of that energy here that says, that's giving me that halfway there and like mentality, which is that exhaustion point that you feel in terms of seeing the fact that something you're doing is paying off, but not feeling like you're fully there yet. So it's like that motivation of energy that moves forward to a certain extent, but also is like not sure, like saying like, I know it's doing something. I know it's doing something. Continuing to get clarification between our 2 of Pentacles in combination with our 6 of Cups in its reversal. Oy vey. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with our Fool card. So again, that's a lot of this energy right now. I'm telling you, the biggest hurdle that I'm seeing for a lot of the energy deep within divine union right now is doing something in a different way, having that sensation of recognizing that you're seeing the results of it, but also feeling the exhaustion in terms of how much further you have to go, right? So there's a lot of this energy right now that is like doing a lot of this work. And I see even now, like it's like, it's more of that feeling for the energy deep within divine union of having to do something that feels like it goes against the grain, you know? But we see even now that for a lot of the energy within divine union, that ability of like, this is the energy that's saying to me that the fact that they're going against the grain, it's not their first rodeo doing that. Like, this is the energy being like, if I got to be the person, like somebody's being like, do I have to be the one to say it? Like, there's a lot of energy being like, do I have to be the one to say it? Do I have to be the one to like, you know what I mean? Like it's requiring, it's almost like requiring a little bit of that energetic volunteering, if you will, right? Because this is the energy that's like very willing and able to be the energetic volunteer to a certain extent, because this is the energy that's like, again, allowing for those new approaches to allow for breakthrough points. But it's hard because this is the energy that's also trying to navigate the feeling of doing something in a way that they haven't before, while also feeling the disharmony of those around them in the process, right? Continuing to get clarification on this, the energy coming into divine union right now, I see that a lot of this, we've already got a card dropping, which will be the next card that we're reading for. For a lot of the energy right now that is coming into divine union, I just keep getting the same thing. For the energy right now deep within divine union is giving me iconoclast kind of energy. For the energy right now coming into divine union, this is make or break point for a lot of these energetic connections, because I see even now like that's either the blossoming or the running away. And the bright thing here that they're saying is for a lot of this energy, that ability of looking, I see even now there's a lot of energy going, I see it now. I see a lot of energy coming into divine union going, I see how I messed up in the past. Like I can see the energy going, like navigating that moment and saying, and that's that clarifying point, because even here in the space of vulnerability, and I need to say this is the energy that's either recognizing and saying, I couldn't trust that energy before to take that leap of faith. I didn't feel like someone was there with me, right? Or this is the energy saying, I'm not going to let myself down again. I'm not going to make the same mistake again. I'm not going to regret this again. So there's either the energy here that's feeling like that sense of saying, I trust this person enough to trust and take that leap of faith. Or this is the energy saying, I am not going to let someone down again the way I let them down when I doubted myself before. So we see even now like a lot of this energy right now overcoming those energetic obstacles and healing a lot of karma in the process. While for masculine and feminine energy right now in separation, look at these two. This card dropped out of the deck as I was reading. It fell to the ground. We've got here our King of Wands. So I told you, this is the feminine energy. I literally have this like vision of the feminine energy that was like putting like things in a vending machine, being like, you know, healthy masculine, healthy masculine, healthy masculine, and then feminine going, I'm done, kicking the machine, walking away, and then hearing. And as they turn around, someone's like, are you done with the vending machine? And someone being like, yeah, oh, yeah, I am. Okay, cool. And like as they turn around. And masculine here too. These are the energies that are literally walking away from something. And in the process of walking away, they're bumping into one another. They're finding each other. They're like, I'm done, bonk. And they're like right on top of each other here. So bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. And why? Because they're being more authentic than they ever were before. Feminine's like, I'm not going to try so hard. I'm not trying. I'm just going to be myself. Masculine, I'm just going to tell someone how I feel. And I'm not really trying to be something that I'm not. These energies right on top of each other. So new energetic connections occurring for energy and separation right now. Potentially even having conversations. And I know you're saying to me, no, that person's just a friend. I can see who's already saying it. No, that person's just a friend. I'm just talking to them about what's going on right now. Are you? Are you talking to someone about how you're feeling, how frustrated you are right now? Someone that seems really trustworthy and reliable, someone whose judgment that you trust. Are they available? Because I see even now that this is either deep friendships that are occurring here, or there's new energetic connections that are being built and based upon conversations. Now, masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union right now. A lot of this energy that we're seeing that's coming into divine union, this is the energy that is potentially having conversations right now and saying, you know, I've had moments like this before that I've run away from because I was too scared, or someone has energetically let me down in the process. So I see even now like a lot of the energy right now that's staying and maintaining, coming into divine union, are the energies that are, again, talking through how they're feeling instead of reacting to it. Masculine and feminine deep within divine union right now. This is the energy that's just moving, like this is the energy, I just keep hearing the same thing. It's not their first rodeo doing this. You know, this is a lot of that energy that's like, you know, not afraid, not like welcomes change to such an extent that they're able to navigate rough waters is what I'm getting, right? Like this is the energy that like isn't being reactive towards anything around them. They're just staying and maintaining like their own energetic consistency, you know, like this is almost like the energy that's like, you know, when you're on a ship and you're headed to a certain destination, if the tides are rough, you don't say, I guess we're not going. You say we proceed anyway, right? So like a lot of this is like the energy just recognizing and identifying and like driving through that sense of purpose, you know, with a lot of like, I want to say communication and a lot of perseverance. Continuing to get clarification between our Seven of Cups in combination with our Wheel of Fortune in its upright. May I have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Nine of Pentacles in its reversal. Now, masculine and feminine energy, deep within divine union, you know, and I have to say this is a lot of energy that's like keeping their focus on the horizon, right? This is why we talk so much about when you build in a path of purpose, it becomes easier to navigate momentary situations, because this is the energy that's recognizing the difference between like, and this is why you cannot just build in a space with a healthy energetic counterpart without having those manifestation goals in check. Because when you don't have manifestation goals in check, you're more at the, you know, It's like you're floating in an ocean, and you're just letting the tide take you where it's taking you, right? So we see even now, like a lot of this energy, the ability of navigating and having those shared manifestation goals. That's the energy that, like, even when things are difficult, they assess things and they look at the manifestation goal and say, well, does that change our course? Do we have to change direction? Like maybe you're going to take a left, maybe you're going to take a right, maybe you're going to move a few degrees, but you're not going to change where you're going. You're just figuring out the best way to get there. So we see even now, like a lot of that pathwork of determination. That's some of that, I told you, the Piscean energy that some of this full moon brought forth, which is again, learning how to navigate rough waters while keeping and maintaining your course. While for masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union right now, what did I just say is happening? You're learning to manage, you're determining whether your counterpart can navigate rough waters while still maintaining their course. And the way you do that is feeling the sense of the energetic opening up, the anxieties and the fears that happen when you start to love. If you don't have the ability to withstand that, if you don't have the ability within the self, the emotional and spiritual fortitude to navigate the joys and the pains and the fears of love, there's some energy right now that's falling out of it because they're not in a space or place where they're ready to hold true love. True love isn't fun. True love is terrifying. True love is terrifying, because you're like, I could break this at any moment. It's like, you're like, so we see even now that this moment, this energy, feeling the delicacy, feeling the vulnerability that they feel and being like, I just gave this person myself and they could break it at any moment. This is either the energy that's going, I trust you with this. I'm giving it to you. I'm not even afraid to take this. I give it to you. I give it to you because I trust you to hold it carefully. And if this is energy that's going, I'm too scared to give you that and dropping away, I'm telling you even now, this is the energy that's building into that sense of saying, like, again, the blossoming of a lot of energetic counterpart energy and holding something and saying, I feel it too. And that's a lot of the energy saying, I'm terrified. And someone else going, I am also terrified. like I am also terrified. Even in the expression of that is the expression of love, right? And if there's energy here that's saying, I'm too afraid, but they're not saying that to the counterpart and they're just pulling back, this could be very painful right now. While for masculine and feminine and separation right now, I just see a bunch of energy that's just like, couldn't care less. And even in the modality saying I couldn't care less right now, they're recognizing there's a recklessness right now that I'm seeing that's occurring for some of the energy in separation. But the recklessness is occurring in the sense of being enough of one's own self. If I see a lot of energy saying I'm done being polite, I'm just going to be my own sense of self. And if my own sense of self sends someone away, well, thank you, highest version of self. I guess you just did the work for me. Continuing to get clarification between our Wheel of Fortune in combination with our Fool card in its upright. One card to clarify. Clarification coming through right now with the Page of Wands in its reversal. And the thing I think is so funny about like so much of this energy right now in separation is I feel like a lot of this energy in separation is like, I don't even, like, this is the energy going, I don't even care right now. I'm going to be my worst version of self. Not recognizing that your worst version of self is like kind of great. Like you've just never given them a chance because this is the energy that's like God working. Like you ever, like, it's like that. Why don't you just be yourself? And someone being like, what are you, nuts? I can't be that guy. Nobody likes that guy. Like, and a lot of energy being like, wait, what's that? Wait, did we just hear some inner child healing come out? Did you just say something of being like, did you say, and like I can see the higher self talking to the lower self being like, did you just say you're not yourself because you're worried that nobody likes that self? Is that what's happening? Do you feel like you're being evil because you're just going to be that person that you feel like nobody likes? Like that's like a lot of that energy that we see right now. That's a lot of that energy that we see right now of someone being like, oh, I'm going to be so like, I'm not going to be mindful and demure. I'm just going to be myself. But what if you're just a lovely person? What if you're just a lovely person and you just haven't given yourself the opportunity to come out of your shell? Like, I see a lot of people that are like, ooh, I'm going to do it right now. I'm just going to be like my worst, like brat era. And like your brat era is just like, you're like, you're like wearing like your coziest shirt. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're letting yourself be a little funnier, you know? So we see even now, like a lot of this energy is just coming into that sense of, again, now this is the energy right now, the energy in separation, coming into that inner child healing. Because this is a lot of the energy right now that's coming, that's in separation, that's allowing their inner child to come out to play. Because that's the, what does a child do? A child does not care. A child is unself-conscious in the act of playing. So there's a lot of energy right now in separation that says, I'm just going to play, but being childlike, not being childish. It's okay to be in that space as long as you're being childlike and not being childish, right? Because that's that feeling of saying, I don't care. That's not the energy going, I don't care. It's the energy going, I don't care. You know, I don't care what others say. I don't care how other people feel about it. This is the shedding of the egoic self. Now, masculine and feminine coming into divine union right now, I told you even now, and I'm like, this is the turbulence we're seeing that often occurs coming into divine union. It's making or breaking some of these connections. Some of these energies are looking towards each other and saying, you make me feel like a child. I'm afraid like a child. Being in the vibration of love makes me feel like I'm a child again. And that's the energy that welcomes that sensitivity and that vulnerability, because they realize that that is the preciousness of the energetic connection. But if there's energy here that it's too much, that vulnerability makes them feel weak. That's the energy that goes, I can't be in that vibration. I feel too weak there. I feel too vulnerable. I don't feel strong. I don't feel like there's anything protecting me. Then that's the energy that's stepping away, because I got to tell you, divine union isn't for everyone. You have to be in a space that you are ready to maintain that energetic frequency. And it requires a lot of emotional or energetic strength and vulnerability in the process. While for masculine and feminine, deep within divine union right now, a lot of that energy deep within divine union is navigating energy around you. I keep saying that. And a lot of the energy right now is navigating energy around them that's acting like a child, but not in a positive way. Right? That's the energy being like, this person's being childish. Everybody's acting like a baby, because that's why I said there's a lot of this sense of like having to nurture the inner child right now. So if you're not doing that work of nurturing the inner child, it's far too easy for that unhealed inner child to come out. So a lot of the energy right now is potentially navigating energy around them, having to deal with someone else's unhealed inner child coming out, and not allowing one's own unhealed inner child to come out to respond, right? It's like, I'm not gonna, no. You know? Continuing to get clarification between our King of Wands and our Nine of Pentacles in its reversal. One card to clarify, please, clarification. Hangman in its reversal. I'm going to say it again. For a lot of the energy deep within divine union, the reason we see this is because the energy deep within divine unions understands that when you experience energy that you don't like, you don't match it. Why would you match energy you don't like? Having someone else bring energy to you that you don't like, all you do when you match is that you're gonna let someone sink you to their level. You're gonna like match someone's frequency that you don't like. This is not the energy that when someone goes low, they go lower. This is the energy that's like just navigating that to a certain extent by maintaining their own effective frequency. Like that's the energy that kind of comes in that space of saying like, I'm not gonna embody the room, I'm gonna be the room, right? So we see even now, like a lot of that energy navigating those circumstances. And for masculine and feminine, masculine is by communication here. Masculine's taking new energetic approaches. Like feminine is pulling back on their own energy to a certain extent. And even here, some of those approaches, like those different approaches to circumstances like that, I see even now, the only difference is I don't see feminine. If feminine's experiencing something that they don't like, I don't even see the space of the feminine kind of bringing forth something positive here. I just see the feminine withdrawing. I just see the feminine pulling back. Masculine, I see the difference is the masculine doing a lot of the work of the feminine previously, which is again, articulating upon something, trying to give that sense of consideration, giving a different take. Masculine building into confidence right now, feminine building into focus. Masculine and feminine coming into divine union right now, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. a lot of this work that we're effectively seeing right now for the energy coming into divine union has to do with a lot of this work that we're experiencing, where the energy is, again, I'm seeing even now that some of this work, this is beautiful. This is transcendent. This is a lot of the energy, maybe even feeling like they're coming through a breakthrough and saying, I've never felt this way before, or I've never reached this, this type of energetic connection with someone. And the ability of finding a counterpart that can navigate that too. That sense of saying, I found someone that isn't afraid of the intensity of an energetic connection. We see even now that this is a lot of that energy that's feeling that viability point and saying, I think I found my person. Because this is the energy that's like literally experiencing that and having those modalities and having those moments of saying to oneself, this is not an energy that breaks away and runs when they feel that intensity. This is an energy that articulates through it, that navigates through it. And that sense, like the gift that we give each other in an energetic connection, is the ability to recognize and feel the sense of strength and support in consistency that we are able to build with our energetic counterparts. And we see even now, like this is the energy that may be having that beautiful breakthrough point, because even in this modality of being able to articulate upon those anxieties and fears, that's that moment of saying, this is that person. Because this is the energy that sees that and experiences that. But I do see even now that if these are modalities that we see where someone becomes too anxious, they start acting weird, they start running away, right? We see even now like that modality of experiencing that. If this is energy that's seeing someone like at a time of expansion, they're starting to push away, or they're starting to act weird, but they're not articulating on it. The thing that's difficult is I can even see in some of these connections, someone's like, I know what's happening. This is the energy. I can almost see the fact that the difficulty for some of the energy within this connection is them looking at it and going, I know what's happening. And it's not coming from a lack of love. It's someone who is not energetically prepared to hold the space of navigating the feeling of love. Now, continuing for this energy and separation, I see even now a lot of this energy and separation. This is energy that's saying, I'm done. But what you're really doing is you're freeing yourself to be your most authentic sense of self as these new energetic connections come towards you. Because I see even now, like that's basically what's happening now. Like I see a lot of energy walking away from things and feeling that freedom to be themselves. And in the process of just feeling that sense of being you're giving yourself permission to be your most authentic sense of self. And now you're going to move into connection with someone that's going to see you in that modality. Continuing to get clarification between our 9 of Pentacles in its reversal in combination with our Page of Wands in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with our 9 of Cups in its upright. So and I'm telling you even now, this is that energy that I'm seeing of the energy and separation that's basically saying, no, you don't understand. I'm good. I don't need anything. I don't need an energetic connection right now. I kind of enjoy. I see energy going, I'm actually kind of enjoying. I see energy going, I'm kind of enjoying being in this modality of separation. This is energy that's gotten comfortable in separation. This is energy that's like, I like it here. You just got comfortable? You just got comfortable being in separation? Okay, let's see what happens now. Let's see what happens now, because this is the energy that's like reached, like this is the completion point. Like you understand, like this is the energy that is finding that satisfaction and saying, no, you don't understand. I'm not looking, I don't need anything from anyone. I'm looking to amplify where I already am. I'm looking to share that abundance. I'm looking to grow that and expand that. And that's that moment of being in that space of embodying the feeling that you're seeking in terms of building towards an energetic counterpart. Masculine and feminine right now coming into divine union. A lot of beautiful energetic unions that I see that are happening right now. And this is a beautiful expansion point. But I have to say this expansion point is being articulated by someone saying, I know I'm acting weird. And if I'm acting weird, it's because I've never felt this before. I've never felt this way before. I've never felt this way before. right? And that ability of saying to someone, something is changing within me. I can feel that change. It's it's bringing things to life within me that I did not know were existent before. Like that sense of having that sense of exploration. There's a lot of energy right now that's entering divine union and remembering that divine union is not a conclusion point. It is the beginning. It is the beginning of understanding, because it's understanding a whole version of yourself that you were not necessarily navigating prior, because you were just on that singular journey. So we see even now, like, that's that beautiful, like, I want to say it's like a lot of energy that may have looked prior at divine union and being like, yeah, well, when you get into divine union, you close the book. And a lot of energy that's recognizing, going, oh, when you come into divine union, that's when the book opens. While for masculine and feminine energy, deep within divine union, a lot of that energy deep within divine union right now, it's just being patient. It's just being persistent. Like, I have to see, like, a lot of this work that I see right now for the energy. And I told you, a lot of the energy deep within divine union is getting more comfortable being outside of their comfort zone. So we see even now that for a lot of the energy in that modality, finding that comfortability in a space where you used to feel discomfort, this is the energy that's expanding their own, like, I want to say, like, energetic toolbox to a certain extent, because this is the energy that's saying, like, I'm comfortable being in a space of discomfort, right? And that's required often when you're doing something that you haven't done before. Final card for today's spread, between our Hangman in its reversal in combination with our Nine of Cups in its upright. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with our Nine of Swords in its upright. Now, as I said, why are we seeing these double nines here? Because we just articulated the fact of the energy being able to navigate spaces and places of feeling comfortable in discomfort. So even here, we see that this is a lot of the energy deep within divine union that I want to say is learning that ability to, like the words that are coming towards me in such a way is that difficult work on dancing on the razor's edge to a certain extent. And what do I mean by the razor's edge? It's that ability of, again, identifying the difference between what feels like it is discomfort versus what feels like it is too uncomfortable, right? So much of this work that we're seeing right now is a lot of that energy that is recognizing and potentially even recognizing and saying, in the past, something about where I would be would have felt like it was too challenging. It would have felt like it was too hard. It would have felt like it was too overwhelming. But what is those moments of personal growth that we navigate? Again, the difference between a breakthrough and a breakdown. When we have those moments that we say, I'm able to navigate something that would have been devastating, but now in a way that it feels like I'm able to find that point of energetic peace within it. We see even now, like, a lot of that energy is being able to kind of find that sense of balance within the self that is potentially energetically required to be able to facilitate a lot of those breakthroughs. So we see even now, like, a lot of that energy kind of like energetically required to be able to facilitate a lot of those breakthroughs. So we see even now, like, a lot of that energy kind of like, I want to say, doing that, like, difficult work, right? Being ready, like being ready to be in that discomfort zone. Like, this is almost the energy that says, if someone has to rip the Band-Aid, I'll be the one to rip the Band-Aid. If someone has to do that work, right? Like, it requires that sense of being ready to do something that is energetically difficult, right? But doing so in a way that you're almost prepared in the process. Masculine and feminine energy that is coming into divine union. I'm going to say it again. This is the type of energy that either makes or breaks an energetic connection here, because the ability to feel a lot of this heightening of sensitivity at this time and holding someone's hand through it and saying, I'm ready to go through this with you. I am ready for those changes. I am ready to feel like that sense of, like, that level and degree of love that feels like it is constantly devastating, but constantly nurturing, like that sense of, like, it's like always in that delicate balance of feeling like the joy and terror of love. This is a lot of that energy that, again, feels that breakthrough point and someone saying, I'm here no matter what, for better or for worse, right? That sense of saying, I'm here for the high and the low of it. I'm here for all of it. So we see even now, like that's a lot of that energy that's moving into a space of blossoming, because this is the energy that's showing an ability to navigate all of those emotions in the process. I do see here that there could be some moments of someone stepping back away from divine union right now because they're not ready for that. And I can see what can be so devastating for someone experiencing that is recognizing that that is occurring. That someone's like pulling away from something, not because they don't love, but because they're not emotionally or spiritually ready to hold in the space of what is required to remain in an energetic connection of that level and degree of passion and intensity. While for masculine and feminine energy in separation, and I can see some energy right now looking at someone and being like, you're going to regret this someday. I can almost see the energy looking at someone being like, you're going to regret this someday. I can see what's so hard about it. Someone's looking at someone being like, I know what's happening and you're going to regret this someday. Right? Because that's the difference between someone that doesn't care versus looking at someone being like, they care a lot, they're just not ready. You know? While for masculine and feminine energy right now that is in separation, this is a lot of this energy that's like, you know, like I can see a bunch of energy being like, you okay? No, I'm terrible. Like I see a bunch of energy. I see a bunch of energy in separation going, how you doing? I'm awful right now. It's awful. It's terrible. It's a mess. But saying it, like literally saying it with a smile on their face, right? Because this is the energy that's like, they've reached that level of energetic resistance where they're making energetic peace with things and being like, no, it's awful, but I'm okay with it, right? Because this is the energy that's become comfortable in the discomforture. Because they're like, they found that point of personal satisfaction, right? Bottom of the deck on this reading right now with our 4 of Swords, and it's upright. So a lot of the challenges that we're effectively seeing right now, again, and I hate to stress this, just to add a layer or level of goofiness to all of these situations. We're seeing here that in the process of all of this, there may be some circumstances from the past arising back up again. Because why not? Why not? Like, why not just add that to the mix? But I have to stress here the thing that's happening, and this is why I see even now, like some of the energy right now in separation, having something from the past rising up to the surface in the process of all of this, is the fact that the energy is like, go away, I'm busy. Like this is the energy in separation, that the fact that something's coming back up in the past that you would have clung to, but now you could not care less about because of where you are and you're dealing with a bunch of other stuff in the process. I see a bunch of that energy being like, someone being like, I'm here with flowers, and someone being like, I am in the middle of dealing with something. What are you doing here? Because this is a lot of that energy again. The recognition point in relationality to timing, and almost saying to someone like, your timing is terrible. Because like, if this is the energy that's navigating something where someone is going through something and someone else is coming towards them only from a space of thinking about their own personal journey, instead of being energetically compassionate about navigating what someone else might be dealing with right now, this could be something that is like reaffirming someone's own energetic commitment at this time. Because it's almost this moment I'm seeing of someone being like, having gone through transformations, and someone around you who hasn't transformed at all, and being like, dude, what are you doing right now? Like, I've got so much other stuff that I'm dealing with, and you're coming back with this again. Like, this is the energy that's like that's getting frustrated with repetition. This is energy that's looking for change right now. And if something comes towards them from a point of repetition, this is the energy that's like, not like, come on, like it almost feels like laughable. It's like almost someone pushing it off, being like, dude, learn a different song. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, that's coming into divine union, this is a lot of this energy. And again, this is why, and this is what feels like it's baby potentially, like this is why a moment like this also feels like it's eye-opening, because for the energy that is growing in this moment, suddenly saying to oneself, I remember feeling like this and I know what I need to do to stop a cycle from repeating. Like there's a lot of energy right now that may be coming into that vortex of understanding and getting clarity on something that they realized that they would have done differently, that they're now doing differently. Or this is energy that's seeing and saying, this is what that person should have done. And that's what I mean even now. Like that's that moment where like the past is coming back right now for some of that energy coming into divine union, because the ability of feeling, being like, I felt this before, but finally having an energetic counterpart that's able to hold that energy with you as opposed to running, or having that modality of saying, I'm not going to run from this now. I'm going to lean towards it. We see even now that for so much of that energy, navigating that, this is a lot of that work that we see that is requiring, hold on a minute. 1 minute, guys. So what we see that is basically happening to a certain extent is a lot of this work that we're identifying at this time is a lot of that energy feeling that sense of the past reemerging, but then allowing that moment of clarification to a certain extent that's almost creating that sense of, again, feeling the progress of being able to move forward. Or, and again, for some of the energy that may be falling into separation over this, feeling the frustration of saying like, I've seen this before, I know what's happening. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, deep within divine union, so much of this work that we're seeing right now is the identification point in recognizing and understanding to a certain extent what like this is the energy right now that's getting very used to like navigating circumstances in this way. And even here, like that ability of seeing and identifying the changes that you're making in your own experience, identifying and seeing how much you've grown. Like that ability of seeing something and being like, if this happened in the past, it would have devastated me. Like I tell you even now, like that's the energy that's feeling. Again, I told you the path work of like patting oneself on the shoulder in appreciation for how far you've come, and then patting oneself on the shoulder in consideration and conciliation for how much further you have to go. That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you guys so much for being here to experience it. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my website, Strega.com. My private readings are done over video, and if you are a subscriber to my TikTok, you can take 10% off any of my services when you pay. Just mention your subscriber name at the point of payment. Please keep in mind, if you book a private reading with me, it is a 2-step process. You have to book the reading, you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you would like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your inbox and tell you that I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my website. So I encourage you to do it there. Also, a couple of updates before we move into personal readings today. First and foremost, I want to thank everyone who attended our Hierophant class next week. Our next class will be held on Thursday, October 10th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be continuing our studies into the tarot with a focus on the Lover's card. And I cannot wait to teach this card as we are entering the second cycle in the journey of the tarot. All you need to do if you would like to become a part of that class program is head over to my Substack, graystrega.substack.com. Your paid subscription to my Substack will grant you access and entry into each month's live classes. You'll also have access to the course materials and recordings for all of our previous classes. So if you've missed any of those classes, now would be a great time to enroll, because when you become a part of those classes, you will have access to my full library of courses, and that's about 6 hours worth of materials right now. So all you need to do in order to come into that is go ahead and become a paid subscriber, and you'll have access to that full library. This is the perfect time to join because you've got several weeks to catch up before we have our next class. You'll also have access to a one-on-one, the chat with me and the other students to ask any questions that you may have in relation to anything that we're learning. And if you become a founding member to my Substack, not only will you receive a discount on the full year's worth of classes, but you will also receive a complimentary mentorship course with me where we will assess where you are on your own personal tarot journey, and I'll give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your advantage going forward. One of the things classes was make them accessible to both the novice reader as well as the seasoned reader. there is definitely something there for everyone. So if you, I look forward, if you've already joined us there, to teaching you at our next class, and I look forward to potentially seeing you if you're just joining us on that journey. And even if you do not become a paid subscriber to my Substack, I would encourage you to follow me there to stay up to date on any new offerings or services that we are doing. I also post my live schedule there, which will give you a full update on when you can find me online doing the daily collective read. You'll also have updates as to any giveaways that I'm doing. Speaking of giveaways, we are now in the process of having our September giveaway. If you would potentially like to win a free tarot reading with me, a free private tarot reading, head over to the link tree in my bio. There is a 2-minute travel survey there. Filling out that travel survey will grant you access and entry into our giveaway. But if you would like to increase your chances of winning, go ahead and forward that survey to a friend, because when I pull the winner, I will be giving away a free reading not only to the person who wins, but also to the person who referred them. Finally, I want to let you know that on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship courses. These can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class series. That is 4 45-minute classes, 1 per week over the span of the month. These can be focused on whatever area that you are interested in learning about as it relates to your own personal development or your spiritual path work. I take a very limited number of students for this reason. Also, for my clients that are seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to be offering weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, 1 per week over the span of a month, so that you can stay more consistent on your journey. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages, and we will do this again tomorrow.